Picture a misty dawn in the South China Sea, 1830. Wooden ships, their sails taut, glide through the fog, their holds stuffed with chests of opium, dark, sticky, and dangerously addictive. This isn't just a cargo, it's a weapon of commerce, a key to unlocking vast wealth, and a spark that will ignite wars and topple empires. The 19th century opium trade, orchestrated by British merchants and abetted by Chinese smugglers, wasn't merely a business. It was a shadow economy, a web of smuggling routes, clandestine currencies, and coerced treaties that generated billions in illicit profits. This trade didn't just poison bodies, it poisoned entire societies, fueling colonial expansion and laying the foundation for today's global drug economies. Let's unravel this dark tale of greed, addiction, and imperialism, a story that still echoes in modern controversies from cryptocurrency to the opioid crisis. The roots of this shadow economy trace back to the 1770s, when Britain developed an insatiable appetite for Chinese tea, silk, and porcelain. The British East India Company, a corporate titan with its own private army, imported these goods by the ton, but there was a problem. China's Qing Dynasty, proud and self-sufficient, demanded payment in silver. Britain's silver reserves were draining fast, creating a trade imbalance that threatened economic ruin. The solution? Opium. Grown in the lush poppy fields of Bengal, which Britain had colonized, opium was cheap, highly addictive, and banned in China. The East India Company saw an opportunity. Rather than sell the drug directly, too risky for its reputation, it auctioned opium to private merchants. Men like William Jardine and James Matheson, who built fortunes on the edge of legality. Jardine and Matheson, founders of the Jardine Matheson Company, were no ordinary traders. They were ruthless visionaries who turned China's opium ban into a business model. By the 1820s, they had perfected a smuggling network that rivaled any modern cartel. Fast clipper ships, sleek and hard to catch, darted past Chinese patrols along the Pearl River Delta. Smaller boats, crewed by local Chinese smugglers, ferried opium chests to secret warehouses and shadowy opium dens. Each chest, weighing about 150 pounds, was marked with cryptic symbols to evade detection. Bribes flowed freely to port officials, ensuring silence. By 1830, over 20,000 chests were flooding China annually, each one a small fortune. The trade wasn't just profitable, it was a masterclass in illicit logistics, a system so efficient it could rival today's global supply chains. At the heart of this shadow economy was a financial system that operated in the dark. China's economy ran on silver, but the opium trade reversed the flow. Chinese buyers paid for opium with silver, which smugglers and merchants spirited out of the country, draining the Qing treasury. Jardine and Matheson didn't just move drugs, they built a parallel banking network. They issued bills of exchange, paper IOUs, redeemable in London or Calcutta, that allowed them to transfer wealth without shipping heavy silver across ocean. Chinese smugglers, meanwhile, hoarded their silver in hidden vaults or melted it into untraceable ingots. This system was anonymous, flexible, and beyond the reach of any government, much like today's cryptocurrency networks, where transactions slip past regulators. The opium trade wasn't just about selling a drug. It was about creating a financial underworld that rewrote the rules of global commerce. The human cost was catastrophic. By the 1830s, an estimated 10 million Chinese were addicted to opium. In villages across southern China, farmers abandoned rice paddies to chase the drug's fleeting high. Families sold furniture, jewelry, even their children to feed their addiction. In Canton's opium dens, men and women lay sprawled in hazy stupors, their lives unraveling as the drug consumed them. The social fabric tore apart, communities crumbled, crime surged, and poverty deepened. Meanwhile, British merchants in London's elegant parlors counted their profits, untouched by the misery they sowed. The Qing government, desperate to halt the crisis, took action. In 1839, Commissioner Lin Zexu, a resolute official, seized 20,000 chests of opium in Canton and destroyed them, dumping the drug into the sea in a dramatic act of defiance. His stand wasn't just a blow to the trade. It was a challenge to Britain's imperial ambitions. Britain's response was swift and brutal. The First Opium War erupted in 1839, pitting the Royal Navy's steam-powered warships against the Qing's outdated junks and muskets. Chinese ports were bombarded, coastal cities fell, and the Qing were outmatched. By 1842, the Treaty of Nanking ended the war on Britain's terms. China ceded Hong Kong, opened 5 ports to foreign trade, and paid massive reparations. Most shockingly, the treaty protected the opium trade, cloaking it in the guise of free trade. This wasn't negotiation. It was coercion, backed by gunboats. British merchants didn't just win, they reshaped global trade, creating a system where colonial power dictated terms. The Treaty of Nanking was a blueprint for imperialism, a model that would be replicated across Asia and Africa. The opium trade's shadow economy thrived on more than smuggling. It was a system of legal and moral loopholes. The East India Company maintained plausible deniability by outsourcing sales to private traders while controlling opium production in India. In Bengal, farmers were forced to grow poppies instead of food crops, locked into contracts that left them destitute while the company amassed wealth. This wasn't free market capitalism. It was exploitation enforced by colonial rule. Chinese smugglers were complicit too, acting as middlemen who carried opium deep into China's interior. Everyone involved, British merchants, Chinese dealers, Indian growers profited while the addicted bore the burden. The trade's success hinged on this grim collaboration, a network where greed trumped ethics. The Second Opium War, from 1856 to 1860, pushed this exploitation to new heights. When China resisted again, Britain and France united, their armies looting and burning Beijing's summer palace in a display of imperial arrogance. The Treaty of Tianjin legalized opium, opened more ports, and allowed foreign missionaries to operate, masking conquest as cultural exchange. The trade's profits, now worth billions in today's dollars, funded Britain's colonial empire, from Indian railroads to African outposts. Jardine Matheson, now a global powerhouse, left its mark on Hong Kong's financial district, a legacy that endures. The opium trade didn't just enrich individuals, it bankrolled an empire's expansion. The consequences rippled far beyond economics. The trade gutted China, weakening the Qing Dynasty and setting the stage for its collapse in 1911. Addiction and poverty sparked rebellions, like the Taiping Uprising, which killed tens of millions. The smuggling routes forged for opium became highways for later drug trades, carrying heroin and other narcotics. The financial tactics, anonymous transactions, offshore accounts, foreshadowed modern money laundering. Today's cryptocurrency markets, with their promise of untraceable wealth, mirror the opium trade's shadow economy. The parallels are chilling, a global network driven by profit, sidestepping laws, and thriving on moral compromises. Why does this matter now? The opium trade isn't just a dusty history lesson, it's a mirror to our world. Its playbook lives on in modern supply chains. Conflict minerals mined by exploited workers, sweatshops churning out cheap goods, or the opioid crisis fueled by pharmaceutical giants. Like the opium merchants, today's corporations exploit legal gray zones, prioritizing profit over human lives. The US opioid epidemic, with its millions addicted and communities shattered, echoes the Qing's plight. Flood markets with addictive substances, dodge accountability, and let society pay the price. The opium trade's moral failures feel hauntingly familiar. This shadow economy wasn't built by faceless forces. It was crafted by choices. Merchants who saw addiction as opportunity, officials who took bribes, empires that turned a blind eye. Its wealth shaped the modern world, from Hong Kong's skyline to global banking systems. But the cost was staggering. Millions of lives, entire nations, and a legacy of exploitation that lingers. The opium trade warns us that unchecked greed can poison more than bodies. It can corrupt society, empires, and justice itself. As the screen fades, imagine the opium dance, the battered ports, and today's gleaming skyscraper. This is a story of greed, power, and betrayal, a call to question the systems we inherit and those we build. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more stories that uncover the hidden forces shaping our world.